Well, welcome everyone. Um, all three of you so far. Looks like we might actually get to start a bit early. We do have all of the players here for this final game in the Coral Jolyu League River bracket. Everything is to play for with this final game. SAS Desert are playing to win the league. If they win both games, they win the league. If they get only one game, they will have to go to a tie set of playoff games against TLH for that top spot. Meanwhile, Madly Mediocre, if they do win both of these games, they can steal second place away from SAS Desert because they'll have it in the head-to-head against them. So definitely everything to play for here, and we'll just wait for everyone to actually get back. Players are just getting themselves ready, and then we can just straight up start. We don't have that many people watching, so it does seem like, oh, unless Twitch is broken. Twitch might be broken again. Um, It does mean that we just have a nice, simple cast today. We have a nice chill hype. Chill hype, that's what we're going for. It's going to be chill hype. Um, because I can't wear out my voice. I've been sleeping terribly, so very tired. But we will get there. We will have some nice chill hype, and everything will be cool. So, yep, we're just waiting as the final players go towards doing what they can. Doing what they can. Brain work, please. As we get the final ready checks. Um, I'll just let them know that I'm ready to go whenever. Oh, and we are going to go straight into Champion Select. I wonder if I have these names the right way around. We actually do. Perfect. So anything that we'd expect to see banned, I don't actually know what's currently super overpowered. So I guess it might just be banning out things that people particularly like. So they're banning away some of Slug's uh, Slug's champions that he likes the best. That would be the Samira, that would be the Tristana. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Tristana ban coming out as well. In terms of what you tend to ban against SAS Desert, I think there's definitely a lot you could ban. Looks like they want to get rid of Cal's most comfortable ADC in the Ezreal, so they're looking to get rid of a lot of this stuff towards the bottom lane. Also taking away that Malphite, an extremely good pick, and something that we do know that top will play. For anyone who doesn't realise, the jungler has just renamed for SAS Desert, so we've not got a new player out here. We'll have to wait and see what Madly Mediocre decide to ban next. Will they continue focusing their bans towards this bottom lane? Are they going to spread them out? I wouldn't be surprised to see some jungle bans coming out. They do ban away the Nautilus. Nautilus is just a really strong champion from the sheer amount of utility that he brings for your team with his catch potential, with his tankiness, with all of the CC in his kit. So definitely something that you can just afford to ban away. A Fizz ban is interesting. They don't want their mid lane to get particularly dunked on. We do know that Calicus does like to play things like the Zoe, um, things that generally aren't too good into champions like Fizz. Fizz can obviously dodge things like the bubble extremely easily using his playful trickster. So that's just making that mid lane a little bit easier. And Nunu will also be banned away, a very good champion in the right hand. So we see bans just across the board going towards every lane, all positions. Yuumi being hovered. I'd be somewhat surprised to see a Yuumi first pick lock-in, but we've seen stranger things. Maybe we're going to see something fun coming out. But either way, it is being hovered by the side of SAS Desert, but they will instead lock in that Shen. That does make a lot more sense. Shen, of course, can be flexed between support and top, but it's just an incredible champion for giving you a lot of that pressure. Leona, the pretty quick lock-in for Madly Mediocre. They want to get something comfortable for their mid laner. Their mid laner is a sub. Coming over them now, Leona is something that he has played before, so something that he's comfortable on. Definitely, you do like to prioritize that comfort over the power picks generally when you're at this level. Again, Hecarim, something Red Husky is comfortable on and does give them a lot of that ganking potential. Champion that will scale up very well. We see lots of different supports and picks being hovered here from Mohammed. What am I going to call him? Mohammed's a bit long. I'll have to find something else. Um, Maybe just Abdul. Sure, Abdul. We'll call him Abdul. Why not? Um, Lots of picks being hovered. The Mundo being locked in. Mundo actually a very strangely strong pick coming out. As it turns out, all of the changes to Grievous Wounds were not as amazing as Riot originally thought they were going to be. It left a lot of these healing champions actually being fairly strong. Mundo being one of them. Um, Quite strong at healing. Braum is also something that Atomica does like to play, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that locked in. But the Tahm Kench is definitely Atomica's most played. We're seeing just a lot of very comfortable picks being brought out here, which is what you like to see. You like to see players playing those champions that they like to play, that they're comfortable on. Christensen's Malzahar is definitely another one that he likes to play and is very comfortable on. I wouldn't be surprised to see that locked in here. It will allow them to ban out some mid laners that Christensen might not want to play into. But he does go for the Victor instead. It's not something I've seen. Victor was, of course, did get changed with all of the item changes. They actually made him, put him into a ridiculously strong state and then tuned him back a little bit. He should be quite a strong champion as it is. I'm not actually too sure how well Victor does into tanks, but that is a very tanky front line. Been locked in so far from SAS Desert. I'd expect to see some sort of champion locked in as their ADC and top laners that do well into tanks. Um, I don't know if top plays it, but definitely Fiora could be a potentially good pick. Darius also a good pick, which I believe top does play. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see either a Darius ban out or a Darius lock in. Meanwhile, SES Desert just banning out more ADCs. There we see Slugs Tristana taken away. Sorry about that, can't speak today. That's going to happen a lot. Varus also being taken away. Interesting takeaway, actually. I guess it's something that Cal likes to play a lot. It does provide a lot of that zone control. I'm a bit surprised though, as SAS Desert so far do have a lot of that magic damage locked in, and Varus, of course, is a bit of a split damage dealer between that magic and physical. Ornn being banned away is an interesting one. It definitely does limit that scaling potential for the side of Madly Mediocre from locking in that Ornn. But I'm a bit surprised they didn't take away anything that does particularly well into tanks. Of course, various tank killers left up here. See what they decide to lock in. I wouldn't expect the Misfortune Vein makes a lot more sense, but they're going to lock in the Misfortune. Hopefully here we see somewhat more of the tank shred options. I think I'd like to see maybe maybe you do pick up the Eclipse or something, but then you pivot into that Black Cleaver so you can get as much armor shred as possible. I don't think full lethality Misfortune's really going to cut it here when you're into that massive front line. Unless they can really get a kill lane going. Cal decides to lock in that Ash, bring a lot more utility. The one thing I'm a little bit worried about SAS Desert's comp so far is they're a little bit lacking in the damage. All of their champions do bring some amount of damage. The Azir would be a very good lock in here. It does give a another big chunk of damage to Ana. Also could be very good with the Shen. You could jump into the enemy team with the Shen. Definitely something that could potentially look to punish this Victor pick. We see Mordekaiser being locked in. I'm a little surprised we didn't see something that's more good sort of into tanks. Of course, Mordekaiser, very good if you want to control things like objectives, because he can just ult the enemy jungler away. A little bit of a strange pick in my opinion, but maybe just Madly Mediocre wanting to make sure that they have those champions they're comfortable on, and top thinking, right, the Mordekaiser's thing I'm most comfortable on, and we don't have all that much magic damage right now, so I'll get in the magic damage bruiser. In terms of what we'd expect to see really towards this early game, we do have that kill threat from the side of Madly Mediocre in the bottom lane. The Tahm Kench should make it fairly easy for Cal and Atomica to survive that though. In the mid lane we have the Diana into Victor. It'll be a bit of an awkward lane for the Victor to play until he gets a few levels and items under his belt, and he can start to one-shot those waves pretty much just with his E and clear them out without allowing Diana to get near him. Meanwhile, in that top lane, you've just got Shen into Mordekaiser. You wouldn't really expect either of them to kill the other one, so don't really expect too much there. Mundo and Hecarim, I don't actually know which one tends to win in the 1v1, so it'll be interesting to see how these two junglers try and play around each other. I would expect to see a lot of attention really put towards this middle lane, and maybe some attention to the bot lane, especially from the side of Madly Mediocre if they can make it stick, because those are definitely some. The Misfortune is definitely someone that you want to get ahead, and you want to try and keep the Diana behind if possible. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see a lot of pressure going there. And again, from the side of SAS Desert, they would really love to get this Mundo ahead. Not this Mundo, this Diana ahead, to the point where she can start just taking out Victor and Misfortune instantly. Of course, the entire side of Madly Mediocre is somewhat bruisery, so it's not like here the assassin pick is the most amazing pick where you're going to one-shot their damage and win the game off of it. But still, if you're able to just take out one of those big damage dealers, it will help out a lot. Obviously, we just got to wait for the spectator delay to come down now. I don't know what you guys think about the game. George is saying, Red hard win the draft. I have a question for you, George. What would you think if instead of Mordekaiser and Misfortune, they had Vayne and Darius? Or or something like Vayne and Fiora. Two champions that do really well into tanks. How would you feel about that? Because those were the two final picks, the Misfortune and the Mordekaiser, and I feel like they could have drafted around this slightly better. I don't dislike the Misfortune, but I would like to see more of a yeah, I don't dislike the Misfortune, but I'd like to see the sort of more cleaver bruiser killer build coming out here, because she will have to get through that Shen and that Mundo and that Tarm Kench. And yeah, the blue team is kind of missing DPS. Thank you, Mazen, for the follow. Um, yeah, that was my point on the blue team. With the Ashe isn't the highest DPS. Thanks, Kenneth, as well. Ashe isn't the highest DPS. MF is busted. MF isn't busted. Lethality is busted, and they refuse to fix it. But MF is just one of those champions that can abuse the lethality. Jhin as well. That's why they nerfed Jhin. They are going to look towards fixing the lethality by calling it an adjustment so people don't lose their shit that lethality is getting nerfed, when realistically it is a bit of a nerf towards it. Yeah, they hovered Vayne as well. I think they were thinking about the Vayne, but maybe they just feel more confident with the Misfortune Leona combination. Especially Vayne is something that could get run down quite easily by Ashe Tarmkench early on if they caught her. So maybe they just feel a bit more comfortable. Let's see. Hopefully I swapped to the right screen here. Okay, are we on the right screen? We're on the wrong screen. No. We'll pretend that never happened. Only the best production values. Ah, yes, we've loaded in too quickly. Okay. So, as we see the teams load into this, we didn't get any chance to really look at the runes and talk about them, but we do have that press the attack on this Misfortune, which will amp all of her team's damage, of course, when she gets it down. It is a bit more of that aggressive rune in the bottom lane, which is nice to see. We also see the Ignite coming from that bot lane. Double teleports on the mid laners, both of them just wanting to do something. We do actually see two potential invades coming out here from both teams. Doesn't look like either of them is actually going to catch the other one out. Potentially, we could have Madly Mediocre walking into SAS Desert as they try and leave the jungle. Something to notice, we do have, of course, that Exhaust Mundo, the classic. Mundo not really taking flash. Ooh. We will see a level 1 fight here coming out. Actually, Mundo face checking in first. That's a lot of damage down instantly. That's the first blood coming out straight onto the Victor. That's a really good person to get it onto. And SAS Atomica is left to just waddle away there. Nothing he can really do to help save that Mundo. And that's a nice chunk of gold right there into the Victor. He's not choosing to back. Maybe he wants to save up for something a bit more meaningful before his first back. And he does have that teleport, so he can choose to just back when he likes and use that teleport to get back to lane. Both junglers are starting on the bottom side. We'll see that Atomica will get to lane with a little bit of health chunked away, but it shouldn't really make too much difference. You can see here Calicus actually getting some nice trades down, just poking a little bit in that middle lane. Again, there's shouldn't really expect too much early on, maybe if we might see a level 2 engage in the bot lane. But I wouldn't really expect either of these two junglers to be ganking straight away. We'll wait for them to at least get level 3 or some sort of gank comes through. Christensen actually getting the better of Calicus here in this mid lane, which is expected. Calicus is a melee champion. 2 is actually hit by SAS slightly first, but it doesn't really matter. Both have managed to get to 2 about the same time. So we won't see much really happening towards this early game. Calicus actually already having burnt through those early pots in this lane. He does just pretty much have to try and keep alive until he gets some sort of gank. So he'll do whatever he can. He actually goes in for the engage, gets the electrocute proc, puts a lot of damage down. Christensen does manage to live, but is fairly low. Has popped both of his pots, so should be able to regen most of his health. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, we're just having a nice farming lane. Not really what I expected. But there you go. Calicus does have to be a little bit wary for some sort of gank from the Hecarim. You can see there's not really many wards yet on the map. SAS using those level advantages as best they can. Calicus is actually getting very low, about 50 health, but does just walk out of that. The cam doesn't want to show us. Taunt's coming down onto top, but Red Husky's also here. They're going onto Doobie. He's just over 300 health. He's trying to get away, uses that flash. Red Husky's chasing him under the tower, but tanks 2 tower shots. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, there is the gank by the Mundo, which does almost manage to get Christensen, but doesn't stick on him long enough. He's not happy to try and follow that up without the flash to get out of the tower. In fact, Christensen actually managing to hold on to both summoners there, so coming out very well from that gank. Red Husky is here. Looks like they might try some sort of dive, but he's just gonna back. Yeah, I wouldn't really expect them to try and dive a Shen. Very hard jump to dive Shen. You see nice trades coming out in that bottom lane. Top and Doobie still just having those short trades in the top lane where really not much damage is coming out, but it is leading to a nice lead up there for top in terms of CS. We can actually see across the board right now, SAS Desert is ahead on CS. Even with those CS leads though, they're still about 300 gold down. Is the lead of that first blood with all of the assist gold that's currently keeping them still down, and you've got to imagine that the minions that have died are the ones that really are making that lead worth something. Wards just being cleared out, a bit of the vision game being played. Red Husky still only level 4. Decides to go for the invade, try and get some vision. Coming for this gank onto Calicus, the slow does go down, but they just don't have enough time to execute that. Red Husky will take a little bit of that XP as he runs out of the lane. It does mean Calicus has hit level 64 Christensen. Doesn't have much mana yet left though, so probably not going to be able to really press any advantages with that earlier 6. Meanwhile, I can see a back has been taken by the bot lane for SAS Desert. They will come back out with that slight advantage. It does mean that they've fallen down on CS. Wave is actually not left in the best place in bot lane. But there's potentially a gank coming out on top here. He does have that level 6. Will he take someone into the death realm? He's getting pushed very low, trading with the Mundo, but that's a lot of damage. Pulls Doobie into the death realm. Will try and do what he can, but he's just going to come out and immediately die to this Mundo. Not much he can do there. Will get taken out in the end. Meanwhile, there is a across-the-map play going on. As Calicus took that back, Christensen and Red Husky immediately move onto this dragon. Will pick up the early Infernal, which means that at least Madly Mediocre will get something off of this. That does buy them more time. How do we always get one of these? So, SAS Desert actually getting off their back from the bot lane without really losing too much. They managed to sustain that small lead that they had. But the first bit of lethality has been picked up for the Misfortune, so this is definitely a time when they can try and push through some of this damage. Diana is currently roaming down. They should have seen her on those wards. So you can see Madly Mediocre's bot lane is hanging back. Actually going for this engage. They know Red Husky is here. Ultimate's used by Diana. A little bit of damage getting put down. Exhaust immediately thrown onto the MF. The taunt comes down from the Stand United. And simple pickup there for the side of SAS Desert. That was maybe a bit of miscommunication there. Not realizing that they're in a 3v3 when Shen also has level 6. Atomica here actually just trying to run down Husky. And that does mean now that SAS Desert have managed to actually swing the gold lead into their favor. It's only about 800 gold, so not too relevant yet. But every little bit of gold will help them. 6 is now being hit across the board, just the supports left to hit that level 6. Mundo does manage to take that red away. Oh, ultimate being thrown down by Christensen. He's put a lot of damage down into Calicus. Gets the slow, but can't quite catch up to him. The mini root being put out from using Richter's abilities, actually slowing him down enough that he can't catch up. But he does force Calicus out of lane. Meanwhile, there is an invade coming through in this topside jungle that the game does not want us to know about. They won't really take much away. They will just get out of that where they can. Looks like a fight might break out here though. Doobie going for a short trade is walking away. We do see Victor is actually coming up. Red Husky wants to go in, charges the E, does a little bit of damage, but he's taking way more here. It is a 3v2. Top does pull Doobie out of the fight, so they get a 2v1 against the Mundo, but the Mundo damage is just coming down. Exhaust is also thrown down, and Christensen is just melting. What is this damage from the Mundo? Top is now, he can't even kill him either. He does manage to take him down and does get a small bounty from it in the turn. But Calicus is just there to pick up the kill in the end and get those double buffs. What was that damage from the Mundo? Some plates will get picked up around the various sides of the map, but the gold lead is now about almost 1,500 for the side of SAS Desert. This Mundo is definitely something that they're going to struggle against. We can actually see already those Grievous wounds have been picked up by Red Husky on the Hecarim. I would like to see some picked up somewhere else, but you obviously do have to offset that against trying to get the Mythics. Red Husky, I'm not sure you want this. The Cleavers just slowing him down actually force the ultimate out. Christensen will be able to hold this mid lane pretty easily as the Victor now that he's got that Death Ray, whatever it's called. He's got it upgraded. I have to see when we get towards this later game how this goes. We can see that the dragon is actually being pinged. And they know that the TP will be back up for it from the Mordecai, so it looks like Mediocre want to fight this. They are in the 2v3 right now. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out, stunning up the Hecarim, but here comes Mundo on the backside, and it's just a sandwich here. There's not much they can do. Slug's not trying to get away. The Solar Flare is thrown down just to try and slow them down, but Smith can't quite decide if he's going to try and get his ADC out or get them away. Flash across from Calicus just uses the pull to pull them both back in, and that's 4 kills over to the side of SAS Desert, and they've just snowballed this lead. And no, it doesn't really matter that the Mordekaiser teleport will be back up for this dragon. It spawns in. If SAS Desert really wanted to go for it, they could burst it down and take it before any real response can come through, but they are slightly late to it on the spawn. Yeah, in a late game fight between Victor and Mundo, you would expect Mundo to win. He is an anti-magic damage champion. It's pretty much going to be how much damage can the MF and the Hecarim really put down into him. Can they kill him before he kills the entire backline? But that Mountain Dragon was picked up by the side of SAS Desert, and it shows that we will get an Ocean Soul. Incredibly impactful here. Either team really needs that Ocean Soul. Both teams have champions, which it just works insanely well with, to the point where you could make a few of your champions pretty much unkillable. See a lot of plates actually going into the pockets of slugs here. Mighty Mediocre are pretty much down across the board. They are even in that top position at least, but they are going to struggle when it gets towards this later game. Solar Flare thrown down. They think they've caught the Ash. The bullet time is used, but there's the Devour coming out from Atomica just to keep them safe. Calicus also here. Enchanted Crystal Arrow was tanked by Smith, giving his life for his ADC there. Not sure it was really required, but will actually just die there for the ADC. Does keep both of their flashes up for some sort of later fight. Rift Herald actually being summoned in this mid lane. Mundo just pushing it and taking that first turret. That's really big. It's hard to get the late turret against the Victor, so taking that is definitely massive. You see there's actually a 2 level difference here. That's so much damage being thrown down into their Hecarim. There's just not much you can do. Almost taken out already. Ghost is thrown down, but you've got to imagine it's too late, and he gets picked up. Taunt going down onto the Victor, and they'll pick that one up as well. Now there's no one left here to defend this mid lane tower. And there's just not much they can do here. Smith running forwards does get the stun, but there's the Devour from Atomica to just keep the ADC safe. And across the board, it's just not going too well for the side of Madly Mediocre right now. They really need to get somewhere ahead, somewhere into this game. That Mundo is just becoming absolutely unstoppable. A second tower actually being picked up. Both of the mid lane outer towers gone. You can see quite a lot of damage actually being thrown into Smith here. Atomica just using the Devour to save Cal from a tower shot. Because these slugs does do a bit of damage. But overall it's not the best. Leandri's actually being picked up first from the Victor, wanting to get a bit of that percent health damage, knowing that into 3 tanks, he is going to have to work through those tanks before he gets access to anyone on the backline. Meanwhile, Mythic's just starting to be picked up across the board. We can see that Slugs, immediately after finishing that Mythic, goes towards that Executioners, getting those Grievous Wounds, realizing the team needs Grievous Wounds as soon as possible. But you gotta start to wonder, will it be enough here? That's a Mundo with 2 items already completed. He's got the Merc Dreads. He's got the exhaust to help keep himself alive. And the Conqueror. Can they catch up and stall the game out to the point where they can outfight this Mundo? See, yet again, Madly Mediocre pinging those dragons. Mundo is ganking the top lane. Not much that he could do to get out of this. Is forced to use the flash to get back under his turret. Looks like they want to tower dive this. Red Husky spots out Calicus. Nice dodge to the side, but not much you can do there. He's taken down. But engage in the bottom lane. They try and keep their tower alive. They put a lot of damage onto Cal. He's forced to flash. The flash after him from Slugs. Heal also being used. Ignite is on Cal. He's still alive. Smith turning towards Atomica now. The grey health is still there. Enchanted Crystal Arrow thrown down, and there's the Stand United coming out. Atomica's shield comes down at the last second, and he flashes away to keep himself alive. The Devour comes out. Really well played from the side of SAS Desert, keeping both of them alive. Smith is just trying to get this now, but it's an absolute disaster. As what looked like it should have been a win for the side of Madly Mediocre ends up being a win for the side of SAS Desert, as they get both the bot laner and the support. Top TPing in here. They don't want to give up this Ocean Drake. He uses the Death Realm on Doobie, but I can't imagine he'll be able to kill him before it finishes. Christensen actually TPing in here. They want to take this fight, try and get something back. Doobie's actually incredibly low. They're trying to kill him, but that's one already down. And will they be able to get the Mundo? Christensen's also down. Now it's just a 1v1 between the Hecarim and the Mundo. Exhaust thrown. That will take away all of Hecarim's damage. He's trying to do what he can, and he does manage to get the kill with the help from the minions, keeping himself alive and getting that kill. And that's why you should build an early Executioners. Without the Executioners going down the entire time, they would not have been able to just about win that. Smith forced to turn around using the Solar Flare. Slugs is also here. Atomica does eat out Cal, trying to keep him alive. Just under 300 health left. He's kiting the best that he can, putting a lot of damage to Smith. They managed to pick up one. Slugs is running after them now. Shields are coming out. Red Husky is on almost no health, but Slugs just runs in, getting those auto attacks down, getting the kill. Atomica will be able to pick up the return, and Calicus does pick up that kill onto Red Husky, and it does leave the dragon open for the side of SAS Desert to pick up at the end of that extremely extended fight. How extended was that fight? People died multiple times in it. And here you can see SAS Desert finally getting to pick up that Ocean Drake. The gold lead for them has now ballooned to about 8,000 gold, and you have to imagine that this game is all but over at this point. Not too much the side of Madly Mediocre can really do now, except try and get picks, try and get some gold onto those key carries, but Smith is going in. They want to try and pick up this 600 gold bounty onto Calicus. Stand United was used on him though to keep him alive. Slugs is taken down. Calicus is just running away. Maybe Red Husky can catch up with him, but the Blast Cone is there, so he will just about manage to stay alive through the burn from the Hecarim. That was almost a 600 gold bounty into the pockets of Madly Mediocre, but instead that's 3 of them that get taken down. And you got to admire them for trying that play. They've not given up on this game yet. They're still trying to get back whatever they can in this game. There is the Herald on top right now, so he can potentially get a tower down. That's a little bit of damage. A little bit of gold that will come back. But it'll be a struggle now. You can see this is now Mundo's jungle. This is not Hecarim's jungle anymore. 3-level difference. Mundo will go where Mundo pleases. And Mundo will take your jungle. The Victor has eventually managed to get that CS lead back into his favour now that there's been a lot of roaming from the Diana. But not much you can do about that. Oh, I'm not sure Top really wanted this fight. He's taken the 1v1 against that Mundo, and Mundo's just running him down. There's almost no health left, less than 100, and yeah, that's not a fight you want to take. And the rest of SAS Desert have just grouped up pretty much towards this top lane, try and force down those last outer towers. Cal is putting down slows to try and help get Atomica out of what could be a sticky situation. Christensen trying to catch up with the rest of his team. They will allow that last outer tower, or that top outer tower, to go down. There is still one outer tower left in that bottom lane. And it looks like maybe SAS Desert will try and get this Baron before going to do anything else. They are just taking backs as a team. So they'll spend all of the gold that they currently have in their pockets. They did have a considerable amount. And get back onto that map and try and push for what you have to imagine will be the end of this game. Oh, and a pause has come out from the side of Madly Mediocre, top pause in the game. Someone gone to grab some sugar, it seems. Of course, that's fine as long as we don't have like overly long pauses. Everything is okay. So we can allow the pause, and we can have a little think about maybe what will happen. What will happen next game? You have to imagine the Mundo's getting banned out. The Mundo is definitely a big problem for them. The side of Madly Mediocre, it's something that they were not prepared for, it seems. They went in obviously thinking that they could handle it, but this is now a 9-kill Mundo, sitting on 3.5 items. You have to imagine it will be banned next game. Of course, what this game means for the championship, if SAS Desert win it, it means that Madly Mediocre do get locked into that 3rd place spot. But SAS Desert will be playing for the sole top of the leaderboard if they win both games. Here, they do get 1st place, no questions asked. If they only win the one game, though, they do have to play again against TLH, as they went 1-1 against them last time, to see who will take that final top spot. And I mean, hopefully the pause won't last all too long. If we look at the vision, we can see that the vision actually is quite heavily... I'm not sure if we can toggle vision. Ah, we can. Okay, so here we go. We can see that the vision from SAS Desert is quite good. It's okay. They have a lot of forward vision. They don't really have much around that Baron. Definitely, they can't see a lot of the approaches, but overall, they do have a lot of vision to just catch people. Actually, a lot better vision towards the bottom side of the map, just in terms of approaching. There's nothing left. Look at the other way, whereas if we swap to Madly Mediocre, you can suddenly see a lot more of the map is just dark. It's scary for them to leave their base against that Mundo who can just run someone down, and especially against the Diana. And yeah, you got to imagine that they're feeling the pressure. They got to try and get some sort of vision on this Baron. When the side of SAS Desert have backed off, you have to sort of imagine that they might be going towards that Baron. Looks like we might be about to restart back up this game. Or not. Who knows? I mean, maybe we could talk about something else. What do you want to talk about, chat? We can we can have a little chat about anything. Anything you guys want to point out that I've missed. Oh, I see we have been chatting about the Merc Treads on the side of Desert. Yeah, Merc Treads, really good. Ah, game is unpausing. Perfect. We can actually have a look at what's going to happen next. Madly Mediocres do still have that Rift Herald, so they can maybe use it to try and force some pressure somewhere, but there's not really much they can do with that. Whereas the side of SAS Desert definitely here setting up towards this Baron area. Actually starting it up with the Ash and the Mundo. The whole team is just here. Tomek is sitting on that backside, just zoning out where he can. Red Husky does have the potential entry into the pit here. Less than 3,000 health. They do see it. They go into the pit.
but it is secured by the Mundo and Miss Smite. Calicus has been put into the death realm by top. Slugs is taken down. Smith also going to be going down, just leaving Christensen and top to try and stay alive. Christensen will run, but flash forwards from Doobie. It will pick that up. Top is trying to run down Cal. Or was it Cal running down top? I think it was Cal running down top. And he does manage to just about win the 1v1 against the Mordekaiser. That's an ace. Will they manage to end the game off of it? Probably not. But they will get a couple of inhib towers. It looks like maybe just one for their troubles. Lots of teleports being used. They wait for their Shen to tank up that mid lane tower. They've got their wave prepared and ready. So they'll go for the second inhib at the very least. Probably going to wait for their ultimates to come back up before going for any sort of engage. They might just decide to back off towards that dragon spawning in 20 seconds. Looks like they will. They're going to play it slow. Not risk throwing their lead. It is a 14,000 gold lead almost. Oh, they are taking backs. That is the Shen backed. He doesn't have the stand united, but he does have the teleport up, so he can rejoin. Cal is on less than half health on the Ashe, but he can use that fruit to heal himself back up a little bit. This dragon is being started up. You gotta imagine that it's just gonna be given. Maddie Mediocre sort of prostrating around, but don't go in for it in the end. I think they've caught the Hecarim. The teleport's coming in behind. Doobie's running in with those home guards. The Unstoppable is nicely used from Red Husky to be able to get out of that. This is a massive ultimate on the way back. The bullet time is just really big. The Mundo's really low, but they're not managing to pick him up, and he does manage to pick up 2 kills on the backside, 3 kills, and they just fall apart. Christensen is the only one left now on the Victor to try and save that base, but what can he really do? The Baron minions, the slows put down, he has to flash away, but the cleaver connects as well, trying to sidestep. He will walk back into the fountain, but that is game 1 going over to the side of SAS Desert. Eventually. We'll get there. I'll swap back to the client, or maybe I won't swap to the client. Yeah, I'll swap to this because I need to get everything. Ah, yes. My game is also bugged. Nice. Spectator's more bugged than it usually is. You'll love it when that happens. Alright, actually we will go back to the client because I gotta show like stats. Oh, if the client doesn't crash on me. Client, please. Stats, in case anyone's interested. We'll do a little scroll through. Nice. Here's your damage graphs. Mundo doing by far the most damage. By 4,000, over 4,000. So yeah, game 1 going to SAS Desert. I'll quickly go and set us up another lobby for this. Give me just a second, guys. And I got to invite some people. I'm not going to invite the entire teams because it will take up all of my attention when I need to be talking. Yeah, so overall, I mean, I think most people would agree that the MVP there would have to go to the Mundo. He just got so far ahead in that jungle role, and yeah, he was a real problem. So of course this time, Maddie Mediocre will be on the blue side, so we'll have to see whether they try and use that blue side to get themselves some sort of advantage here. You have to imagine they'll get themselves some sort of
try and get themselves some sort of advantage using this. Oh my god, my brain today. Um, and yeah, we might, maybe I'll get joined for game two. Peter, welcome, welcome for game two. Let me, can you hear me first?
Yeah.
Cool. Wait, what's your in-game name again?
I hate my life.
Was it SAS? I hate my life. 1
Yeah.
second. Wait, space. We're just sorting out the lobby, guys. Don't worry. I'll just go on. What did you think about that game?
Uh,
Did you see it?
I ca I kind of knew that Desert would win after 5 minutes because Hecarim kind of fucked his pathing up. He let Munder get double Skull Crab and the tempo lead in the jungle from level like 4, so he was just doomed as a champion who needs to get a lot of levels and CS early game. So
Yep.
yeah.
Nice. Just jump in the spectate with me, and we should be all good to go. Um, yeah. Would you? So I assume you would agree then, uh, about Mundo being the MVP in that game
Yeah, it's hard to disagree.
to argue against it.
But the Diana played well for
Oh
yeah
yeah.
the Diana played well for playing against first world victor.
Yes. I'll let them know that we are ready to go when they are. And we get into champion select. So I think we can probably expect to see a Mundo ban. Oh boy. Um, let's just uh, let's just fix this. Haha. Nice NA production values coming out. You know, it had to for the last series. For the last series, it had to. Um, bias casting. I mean, I just happy to have someone here with me. Um, we see the Mundo band, we see the Ezreal band, uh, and the Shen as well. Not wanting, yeah, not wanting
Yeah.
to give over the Shen. I'm not too surprised about that one. And the instant lock-in of the Leona, they want to yet again get Smith that champion that he's comfortable on. I think his Leona looked okay last game. Um,
Yeah, the problem is that they can just pick Tom Cancher, and it kind of counters her.
yep,
Um,
we
but let's
probably
see.
expect to see that picked up again.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was a fine. It worked out fine last game for them. They weren't getting smashed in lane, even though they weren't getting ahead anything like you'd really want to. So it's not the worst thing. Of course, a reminder of the stakes from this game. If SAS Desert win it, they win the River League. If they lose it, then they have to play another series against TLH to see who is the overall winner. We do see that Slugs does get his Tristana this time. Tristana Leona, a very aggressive bottom lane. Of course, Civet Kench, you
Yeah.
would imagine could stand up into that. We'll have to wait and see. Slugs' Tristana is very good. Ooh, maybe we're going to see some sort of more of a bruiser anti-tank. We see the Camille locked in. A bit more of that push power in the top lane. For top. So it'll be interesting to see if they decide to lock in a top laner here to go into the Camille, or if they're happy to leave that and they'll lock in maybe their jungler or mid.
I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a mid lane lock in. But looks like they will lock in their top laner wanting to pick that Kled to face up against the Camille. Camille into Kled, have you played the matchup? Do you know much about the matchup? I don't really know much about the matchup.
The Kled has, I think his Q is a shield breaker now.
Yes, that's
I
right, it
think that was
is.
a patch for Camille. So that just makes her passive disappear, which is a big part of her early game trading. And it also gives Grievous wounds. And Camille likes to go grasp for the healing in the early game. So it's a decent
Yes.
early game matchup, but he will get outscaled.
Yep,
But
so
the good thing about Kled is you can look for those mid lane roams after his level 6 and snowball the mid lane.
potential third co-caster. Yeah, I don't mind if you guys wanna throw him in, get him to join. The waiting to be moved channel, let me know and I'll bring him in. The more the merrier. In terms of bans, you do see the Diana from last game being banned away, and we see the Hecarim and Victor from last game also being banned away. SAS banning those two. So just we're gonna get to see more champions. Always fun. It's nice when we get to see different champions between games. Um, so yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. Nico being locked in. I am personally a big fan of Nico. I like Nico as a champion. Um, Fairly short range is a slight problem with her, which against Tristana towards that later game may prove to be a little bit of an issue, but it will provide a bit more of that CC. Um, it should be fine into Malzahar.
Ooh.
Ooh, the Nidalee. I haven't seen a Nidalee in a while. And it's going to be matched against the Talia. We've got two very out of meta junglers, I think. I don't know. I haven't seen Nidalee in a while. I definitely haven't seen Talia in a very long time. And welcome to our third co-caster. What do you want us to call you? Kirin?
Yeah, just call me Kirin. Good evening,
Perfect.
boys.
Good evening.
Good
What
evening.
um ah, can you spectate the game or do you want me to share screen?
I mean, I think I can spectate the game as soon as they get in. Right now,
Cool.
I'm just
Yeah.
watching the stream for the drafting.
Yeah. What do you think about these drafts after just joining?
I think Red Side has an abysmal draft.
I'm I'm very tempted to agree with you there. I'm not
Well,
sure
the
what the
reason is
Talia
that
deck is
they
either.
have a very the reason is they have like three like two weak lanes. They have a like weird jungle pathing on Talia because she can't path bot lane. If she ever goes bot lane, Tristana just jumps out. They have no CC to set up Talia. They have very little CC mid lane to set up her mid lane as well.
Yeah,
So
they've
the
got
only real lane she can gank is topside, which Nidalee will be clearing faster, so she can be there. And they lose the 2v2.
yeah, to watch the later game as well, that's a very low range comp.
Oh yeah,
With the
it's.
Nico and the Sivir as some of your
I
main
mean,
damage dealers in the Talia as well, it's a bit
yeah, they late
it's
game it's gonna
interesting.
be very iffy for red side because they have no threat on Tristana. Tristana's gonna be able to do whatever, and the low threat they have on Kled, Malzahar can just like all him away. So this is one of those weird games where Kled has to run QSS.
Oh, we will see if the Kled
Mm-hmm.
decides to build a QSS. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Glacial Nico coming out here just because of the absolute lack of CC on the side of SAS Desert.
I mean, they kind of have to be, right? What else
Yeah,
would they do? Like they have, sure they have this Sivir, but I don't understand this Sivir with Kled. Like you already have enough speed up. Why not go for? They go for more tanky junglers that can like
well,
actually do
the
stuff.
Sivir
Like
was
Olaf,
locked
Olaf would have
in
saved.
first, I believe,
Yeah,
when they only knew the Leona, so I think they were just picking something that absolutely would not die in that lane.
true. I
Um,
mean, if you have Sivir, just go Ivan. Like you have Ivan jungle. He keeps up with Nidalee. Plus he can cheat a recall, get the Dark Seal, and then he's set to
yeah,
1v1 the Nidalee early on.
yep. It's kind of interesting. I feel like they could have made a good draft. It's the Talia that's like, ooh, what was this pick? feel like they're
Oh
just like,
yeah,
I want to play Talia. Let's do this.
100%.
But there we go. So,
I really like blue side draft. Like I like it a lot. The Malzahar pick is kind of weird. Like it doesn't really fit into the comp, but I guess it's good for peeling for Tristana.
yeah, it's good peel for Tristana. It's just it's a good amount of extra magic damage, you know?
Yeah.
Put some damage over time in there.
Mhm.
It's obviously Malzahar can set up really well for a Nidalee spear gank, but that's double AP, so it's not the best still.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine for top side since she's gonna since if you play the draft right, she's gonna focus heavily on Camille.
Yeah,
So it's
you
like
expect
80
so.
80 AP, and it's very decent for diving as well post 6 with Camille.
Yeah,
Plus
you
bot
gotta
side, it's very good with bot side plus because they have the owner to help set up the gank. As long as they
guess
focus the right target. Like you start on Tom Kench, you ult Sivir, and you're fine.
that's the place to watch is that top lane, with keeping a little bit of an eye on the bottom lane in case one of them somehow manages to crumble, but that's quite unexpected looking at the lanes.
Yeah.
I would not imagine that to happen, and I wouldn't imagine mid lane to really die until potentially when Malzahar gets 6 with a
Mhm.
gank from Nidalee, you might see something happen. Otherwise, I
Oh
wouldn't
yeah.
expect anything happening there. But we do start to load into game, so let me move over to our game screen. Is that one? I think I got it right.
This is high quality
Perfect.
setup.
Exactly. We love our NA production values.
Hell yeah.
Changing the text on stream. Hey, I don't have to do it this time. I actually got the right one.
I mean, the more I look at it, I actually like the Tom Kent Sivir. It gives Sivir some freedom to play more forward. I actually really like the pick. I even would 100% save the draft for Atomic Cast team.
Yeah, Tom Kent is.
Yeah, I think
It
that
looks like we're gonna get 2 potential invades, or at least 1 invade again. Cal does appear to be AFK in base at the start, but we do have the entirety of Madly Mediocre running towards this top lane, potentially wanting to catch out Doobie.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Doobie doesn't know yet. Smith is first, so can potentially get some sort of stun. He was standing in the back of the bush, so does manage to walk away from that. Takes a spear, but not much else. He should be able to just walk away from this, unless they would like to commit a flash. He's actually taking a lot of damage as he walks a long way round. Abdul on the Talia will get 1 Q down, but
it's interesting. There's no reaction on the bot side. Tom Kench and Sivir could walk up and just get deeper in the enemy bot side of the jungle here.
yep.
Yeah, 100%. Like Sivir Tom Kent should be on the red side.
Yeah.
They should be in the jungle watering it, so they know exactly where they start. They could actually, instead of warding the red buff, they could ward the chicken camp
Yeah.
to know exactly
See.
where's the path, so they can time the gank top lane. Since there's two early clears you can do on red side, red buff start Natalie, you can start red buff go chickens into blue buff gank top, or you can play more towards the Scuttle Club bot lane by going 3 camp bot lane into a gank bot lane.
Yep. You see both junglers starting on that red buff. Talia just start taking the red and then moving immediately to her blue side of the jungle.
Mhm.
So you might potentially see the level 3 into gank or level 3 into scuttle grab. Definitely not feeling that that Raptor or Krug camp on the early levels Talia. Level 2 is hit first by the side of Madly Mediocre. Oh, SAS this is bot lane. Ugh. Can't get them right. They do put down a lot of damage onto Slugs, get him to about half health, but he will be able to heal most of that up with the pots.
Sivir Tom Kench will have the prior until the ult comes in.
Ooh, lots of damage being put down actually.
Playing the lane super well, by the way, on Sivir's side. Tom Kench walking up, followed up by a Sivir Q, that's super smart.
Yep. Just forcing
Talia,
them
I'm
both
looking
to
for
gank
something
whenever
mid.
possible. Gank in the mid lane though. Christensen will flash over that knockback. Doesn't want to try and walk out of it. So that is a flash forced in the mid lane. It does make the Malzahar a little bit more susceptible to future ganks. but it's a Malzahar, gonna be fairly hard to get those kills on, especially with the Malzahar shield. And you got to imagine he would have taken at least one, if not two, MR runes to start to this team.
They could potentially spell disaster from mid lane for Malzahar though. Without the fast, Malzahar cannot push the wave safely, meaning he won't have pressure for these scuttle crabs.
Oh, actually an engage in the bot lane, but the save is put down. Cal is thrown straight back into the enemy team. Exhaust is thrown down as well. The bomb comes down. Still at about 200 health. Just throwing in the boomerangs, they managed to force the flash out of the Leona, which means they at least get something back for that. So that is Flash Ignite used from the Leona, whereas just an Exhaust actually used from the Tahm Kench. But here's the first gank into that top lane. Nidalee doing what she can. Just gets a little bit of damage. A jump forward from Slugs does manage to get all of that damage down.
Oh
Not
no.
much health left. That's first blood being picked up. Atomica will probably be able to walk out of this one. Looks like he wants to go in for the 1v2. Knows that he's full health. Won't actually go for it in the end.
He's looking for it. I think
See
he could
Nidalee
probably
getting
win that
top
2v2.
up there, yeah.
He could probably win that 2-1. I'll go
Italy's
down anyway.
takes a lot of damage from the ground. Atomica does want to go in for this. He's doing what he can, but he's in the minion wave,
he's
taking
inting.
so much damage. Slugs jumps forward, but he's in the minion wave as well. There's a lot of damage being traded back and forth as camera swaps to mid. It wants to watch this fight onto the Malzahar. They're trying to put down what damage they can. Talia is almost dead, does end up dying and uses the flash. Nidalee also jumping in, but might just be donating another kill. Meanwhile, Cal is back and gets the double in the bot lane. Nidalee wants to go, jumps in, getting a lot of damage down onto Calicus. Flash is used after the auto attacks. So many people dying to flashing auto attacks. Lots of kills traded. 3 for 3 in the end. A 400 gold lead put down onto the side of Madly Mediocre.
That favors red side very heavily. Red side is the scaling comp in this game. Favors them very heavily, trading even at this point.
Yeah, and especially getting those kills onto the Sivir is really useful.
Oh yeah. The reason Nidalee was able to do the 1-1 was that Nico actually missed the stun. Meaning that Nidalee would get in the
Ooh,
bush, be
but
able
there's
to heal
engage in
up
this
before
bot
taking
lane.
an auto tank.
And the stun does come down. It's an easy dive at the edge of the tower. And that's just a kill picked up on the Tristana. Christensen does sidestep the pullback there. Actually, not too much focus being put towards this top lane. The Talia is pretty much chain ganking mid lane, trying to get something out of this Malzahar's flash being down. So
This is
far,
smart.
Yeah,
But
once Talia and Cloud is 6, they should be able to just kill Malzahar mid lane if they want to.
oh, they're looking for a gang bot lane. Bot lane moved up mid lane.
yeah, I didn't actually notice, but that kill did go onto the Leona, not the Tristana. So a little bit of a misplay. Sometimes does happen. So they will manage to secure this Scuttle Crab for the Nidalee. Eventually. Cal is here, puts a lot of damage down into the Tristana. Slugs just over 300 health. Atomica trying to zone them out.
Talia playing in river. Looking for the
Playing river.
counter gank mid lane.
Princeton also edging down towards that bottom side. Meanwhile, we haven't really got to look at top lane. Usually Camera loves going top lane. I guess it's because it's not two tanks this time. It's like, who wants to see an actual carry lane? Lots of trades coming out, but overall, just a very slight CS lead for the Camille right now. Most of that should be able to be picked back up, because that is a big blue side wave.
Mid lane is looking very, very favored to Nico right now.
You see the engage in the bottom lane. Atomica going very low already to jump in from Slugs. They're trying to put what damage down they can. That bomb shouldn't be enough to finish off the Tahm Kench. And the bot lane for SAS Desert managing to get out of that, soak up a lot of the pressure. Meanwhile, Calicus roam towards that top side. And Madly Mediocre immediately turn onto this Earth Drake. Very useful Drake in the early game, especially if you are a champion that has taken the double resistances against your sort of laner jungler. So if Christensen did take that double MR rune, will be even more useful. Definitely certainly does help against just being bursted out. SS Desert aren't the most bursty team, but hey, extra resistance is not something to say no to. Oh, but here's the tower dive, and that was pretty much a one-shot. Smith tanking up as many tower shots as he can. Very clean tower dive coming out from the side of Maddie Mediocre. Lots of damage being
Good
put
middle
down.
is spear.
Shield is used, but really good juggling of the tower aggro from the side of Maddie Mediocre. And Slugs will be able to pick up some tower plating here, potentially.
I want to commend in Italy on the early jungle clear. The early jungle clear was super smart. Going red chicken into blue side and then going for the gank top, which initially didn't work, but it gave Camille the opening to be able to get to Sheen safely without having to fight the Kled immediately, which is what Kled players like to do. They want to fight before the first power spike comes in because they have inherently high base HP.
Yep. Someone asked, is there going to be a VOD of this? Yes, the VODs will be on the Twitch and probably eventually added to the YouTube, but we see this engage in the mid lane. Red Husky immediately one-shotting someone, whereas the Malzahar ultimate does come down, locking Calicus in place until he eventually dies. Top did TP into this mid lane as well to just get a lot of extra damage. You have to imagine they'll probably just try and go for a lot of tower damage here. Maybe Red Husky will back off for that Herald. Looks like he will back off the Herald. Top just sticking around for just the one plate. They'll go together to do the Herald.
This is where you start seeing the issue with the Talia pick. Like, Talia has no target access for anyone. Like, she has to like sort of set up the jungle ganks herself. With a CC type jungler into this team, it would have been a very different game because then the jungler would have been able to actually set up ganks herself. Talia is a jungle champ that kind of relies on her lane maze to be able to set up the gank for her, so she can get the knockback into the stones for her.
Ward will be cleared out, but won't mean too much for this game. We do actually see the gold lead has gone up to about 3,000, but here is a gank in the top lane. Top does manage to get out of that, but just walks straight into the knockback and gets taken out from it.
Very nice.
Very nicely done, and probably a little bit of a misplay from Top to trying to walk through that knockback. But that was a good spell shield there from Cal to get out of that solar flare. Tomica doing a bit of roaming, taking out some wards. It's nice from Madly Mediocre to try and punish the Sivir being on her own. Did not manage to really get much from it apart from a little bit of chunk HP damage, but there you go.
What do you think about the Triforce build for Camille?
I think it's too glass cannony. You need Divine Sundera to be able to deal with bruises healthily in case there's a jungle coming. The Triforce build is sort of more a
ultimate thrown down from Christensen in this mid lane. Does get Calicus pretty low. Red Husky is also here, but misses the spear. Won't actually go for anything. Might try and go for some sort of tower dive. Slugs and Smith using that pressure from the Tristana again to just get in there and clear more wards out. Rift Herald being thrown down in the mid lane. Calicus flashing forwards, trying to get something done. Did manage to root Christensen, who took tower shots. But the E damage from Christensen will eventually pick up that kill with the Flux. Slugs is trying to get away, does get picked up in the meantime. I'm not sure how that engage came in the bottom lane. I'm going to assume it's probably a Tarn catch ult. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Talia just managed to somehow get in there. Top and Doobie still just doing some very small trading up in his top lane. Doobie's actually doing a lot of damage to Top, getting him to just under 100 health. And that's Top being taken down, just as I say, small trading. Game proving me wrong yet again.
The fact that the mid lane turret got taken so early is kind of huge for Madly Mediocre here.
Yeah.
Mid lane can just look for invades, you know, with
Makes
the
it a lot
lead he already
safer.
has. Yeah.
bot side jungle is in left side, blue side, red side jungle is in Middle East to be taken right now. Talia cannot follow. Talia have to sort of split the map and play towards the Kled right now.
Yep, and then you also have the problem for Nico of she can no longer safely push up as far as she doesn't have that tower there. So every time she's coming up towards this middle lane, she is putting herself in danger.
I mean, as long as Tamken stays out of vision and like hides under the turret and spells shield to Leona, Tamken is just free to roam mid lane in case there's a gank.
Yep.
But it relies heavily on Sivir using the spell shield correctly. Sivir has the advantage of the bouncing blades and the boomerang to be able to clear the
waves
wave
pretty much
super
instantly.
fast.
They have to be a little bit careful. Oh, ultimate was thrown down towards that middle lane. Christensen just chunking out Calicus again. Spit is going for this, does use the solar flare onto Atomica.
Leona's dead.
Atomica did save Cal, but that's Leona down already. One in the favor of SAS Desert so
They got
far.
Malzahar too.
They should be able to pick up Malzahar from this. He is walking away, but doesn't have the flash. Will eventually go down, and the kill is donated into the pockets of the Sivir. They're trying to get as much damage, as much gold into her pockets as possible. Slugs is jumping in, trying to assassinate Cal, but the spell shield just means your bomb isn't going to do damage. Red Husky jumping back in, tries to use the flash, does manage to pick up the Sivir, and will get a bit of shutdown gold for that. Does get
Sivir
picked
is
up in return.
super strong. Sivir is outscaling right now.
Yep, that is the shield bow picked up, meaning she'll be that much harder to burst out.
She's super far ahead of the curve right now. She will be able to 1v1 the Nidalee in case they ever find themselves in a team fight and Nidalee jumps on her. As long as Sivir spell shields the Q, Nidalee should be fine.
See, there's only about a 500 gold lead left now for the side of Madly Mediocre. Pretty much all of that gold lead is in the jungle. In fact, jungle is over 1,000 ahead. Meanwhile, you can actually see Sivir is 800 gold ahead. Top lane is still in the favour of Kled right now. Mid lane slightly in the favour of Malzahar, but not by too much.
I want to see the QSS coming in for Nidalee, just to make sure that she can never get hit by a CC, never get locked down, so she's able to play super aggressive in team fights.
Yeah, she
I
does
really
have
don't
that
like
design,
the magic pan boots on Nico or Malzahar. I think Merc Treads has too much value, especially for the Nico, with Malzahar ulti, Leona CC, Nidalee damage, the E of Camille as well.
Yeah,
I think for Malzahar this game it's fine, but Nico should definitely have gotten McTrent as well as
At
Talia.
least Nico.
yeah.
Like with the heavy CC they have on blue side, they really need the tenacity from McTrents.
Madly Mediocre is using their pressure well to try and force down these towers. But Talia is doing what she can. Smith is blocking everything
coming
on
from
the
the side.
Leona, does turn it around with the Zenith Blade going in onto Cal. Jump in from Slugs. They do assassinate the Nidalee as one down, but one is taken back in return. The ultimate comes out from Nico. Red Husky is still alive though, heals himself up, will pick up that kill. Just about stay alive on the back half of that, making it a 2-for-1 in favour of Madly Mediocre.
Nidalee is just out of control.
Yep, they really got to be able to kill that Nidalee right now. Ultimate used from Kled, charging in, but Slugs just jumps to the side with the rocket jump. And will run towards this mid lane to get out. Maybe a bit slower, but you've got to imagine he'll be able to get out of that one safely. Meanwhile, Madly Mediocre have turned towards this Rift Herald. They want to pick it up, probably use it to get some sort of pressure on the map. Maybe try and force themselves to get that next Infernal Drake. It is an Infernal Soul. That Drake will be spawning in just over a minute. I'd like to see them put that top when the Drake's close to spawning. Force SAS Desert to make a decision of whether they want to stop the Camille pushing with the Herald or something else. Top actually getting interrupted. Badly used. What's that hook shot? We'll get a lot of damage down, but we'll get taken out in the end. As you can see, really not tanky enough when just has that Triforce. Well, Cal and Atomica are just pushing the towers on this bottom side. Will pick up that tower. It's a little bit more gold going back. It is still only about 300 gold lead for the side of Madly Mediocre. A very close game, actually. Calicus is going in, but the ultimate is thrown down by Malzahar. Calicus in the middle of the wave, flash away from Christensen's Malzahar. He's going to try and chase Calicus down. Thinks better of it, as Atomica is walking in on this bottom side. Herald was dropped top early to just force down that outer tower. Not really worth it for the amount of time you invest to take that.
I want to see red side kind of move the Nico around with Tom Kench and have Sivir clear waves mid lane endlessly.
Yep, you really want Tarn to be somewhere where he can ult in someone who can't get there, which is pretty
Oh, yeah.
much just leaves it being Nico or Sivir.
The reason Nico is the best pick here for Tom Kenchal is that you can Tom Kench them behind the blue side team, and then you can have Nico W in behind them and ult in stealth.
Yes, it is the best person to do it on. Oh, it does give you that extra one. We do see Madly Mediocre will actually manage to pick up this dragon when it spawns. The side of SAS Desert are nowhere to be seen. And Madly Mediocre still managing to just about hold on to their tiny gold lead. Oh, a nice stun going down onto Slugs. He's almost got no damage. Flash forwards to follow him up, and he will pick up that 1v1 kill. Calicus managing to kill the ADC on the side of Madly Mediocre and gaining them that pressure in the middle lane where they can probably get this tower.
It's actually really big for them to be able to open the map here.
I'll open up the map a lot. That's a jump forward from Red Husky. Does a lot of damage. Talia ult is used to just help make sure there is no follow-up there. Red Husky going for that Scuttle Crab. Jumps forwards. I don't think he actually managed to get it in the end. No, he didn't. Doobie does pick that up. Sidestepping the spear. Using the fancy footwork. Does try and turn it around, but he is basically in a 1v3. Malzahar ult is thrown down. That pushes him out. He flashes with the wall away from the solar flare. Trying to get away, but not much you can do in the 1v3. I don't think he knew that Leona was on the way. Maybe thought he could win the 1v2. Does manage to get quite a few ultimates, which could be big as they turn onto this Baron. They do see Sivir in the bot lane, so it is a good turn. They will be in the 5v3 if this is decided to be fought. Looks like they might just try and go for that steal. Smith is being taken very low, was healed up by Nidalee. The Primal Surge. Calicus is in the backline with the ultimate, hits 3. That's a lot of damage being put down. Red Husky goes into the Zhonya's. Slugs is jumping forwards, trying to get Calicus. Calicus does get taken down in the end, but is traded back to Slugs. Sivir is almost here. TP is coming in, and it's just being turned around by SAS Desert. They pick up Christensen on the back half, and they're trying to chase down as many people as they can. How many Barons will they be able to take out here? There's a lot of damage Red Husky is putting down. They managed to pick up 2 kills. Stop a couple of Barons, but really, that's not enough.
I mean, it stops the momentum that blue side has going for him. Plus, it gives red side some very good shutdown goals.
How much
If
shutdown
they
gold did
actually
they get? I don't think they got shut down.
Yeah, they didn't. But it still stops the blue side tempo. Like the tempo advantage so far the last like 5 minutes have been on blue side. So getting those Baron buffs actually subs the.
No. Pause coming out. As somebody needs a toilet break. But yeah, it affects them a little bit just because of how long it took to kill them. But you're only taking a little bit of that Baron buff timer out. Realistically, you've taken the Baron buff timer away from Malzahar and Tristana, which aren't the 2 that need it the most.
Well, it means that blue side cannot do the 1-3-1, which is what that comp really wants to do. It means that they have to group up at least 4 people, leaving Tom Kench, Nico, combo to be able to come in from the backside to clean up the team fight before probably Camille can even respond to it.
They can still do 1-1-3 with someone hovering in the jungle, which is pretty good.
Yeah, but the issue with that is that red side have enough wave clear to be able to hold off two lanes of Baron buff minions, as well as putting Sivir mid lane to be able to
Who's
stop the
gonna,
unburned minions.
apart from Sivir, who is going to stop the Baron buff minions?
Nico and
Yeah.
Talia.
They're very slow at clearing Baron buff minions. Like,
Yes, but
it's
Talia has the wall to be able to stop them before. And after like so, like it works like this, right? Sivir clears the wave that isn't Baron buffed, and then moves over immediately to a wave that is Baron buffed that is being pressured the most, and then Nico can wall off and start an engage, leaving Tom Kench Nico to come in and clear and start a team fight without blue side being ready for it.
That's what you have to try and do, but
Yes.
it's all in the execution, whether you're actually able to do something like that, and you do have to be very careful, because without the Tom Kench there, that is definitely a team that could instantly turn and try the tower dive forwards.
Oh yeah.
And they do
Yeah,
get the
and
Kled ult out, which is pretty good.
The interesting thing is I actually favor Kled here in the 1v1 now because of the build path. Triforce is really bad into Sunfire Cape.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
he
personally
should
just think-
actually be able to at least withstand Camille in the side lane and be a lot more useful in the team fights just because of the build path.
Oh, DB has found Husky, wants to take that 1v1 in the jungle. Talia is on the way using that wall. Does push them over into the Krugs, the 1v1 in the Krugs, but top is here and so is the rest of Manly Mediocre, and they pick up that 1 kill onto Doobie. And now it does look like they want to take this fight. They're running forwards onto Smith. He uses the Zenith Blade to get into the middle of the backline, but I'm not sure that's really where he wants to be. He's trying to get out. He's gone down already. Slugs is putting what damage he can into Atomica. Atomica is using it all up. Locket is thrown down, but it's not enough to keep him alive. Slug gets a little too far forwards, a little too ahead of himself, and does get taken out by the burst from the Nidalee and the Talia. Christensen also going down in the end. SAS Desert actually coming out on top of that fight. Few positioning errors from the side of Madly Mediocre, meaning that the key players just got caught out at times when they really couldn't afford to.
SAS are coming out very heavily ahead here.
Yep, they have managed to swing that gold lead back to being equal. We do see that a dragon will be spawning in about 35 seconds. It'll be interesting to see whether they decide to fight over that one or if they'll wait. They don't have to fight over it. It is only the third potential Drake for Madly Mediocre. Would be the second potential Drake for them. Do you think they'll fight over it?
I think they want to fight. I think they win in a 5v5 now.
I mean, I think
SAS.
blue side is fine to give this one up.
Yeah, it looks like
It's not solo anything, so I think blue side can just find like give this up with no issue and look for a pick around the Leona.
yeah, both teams here realistically could decide to give it up if they wanted, but I think they'll definitely. Looks like they are trying to fight it. Oh, they've caught the Nidalee. On less than 100 health, does use the Primal Surge to heal up, but is actually taken out almost instantly. Doobie does stay alive, and they take down Tristana and Leona as well. It's an absolute disaster for the side of Manly Mediocre. Only Top and Christensen left to try and get away from this. Calicus following them up. All of the CC goes wide. They do manage to actually hit it onto 2 with the Nico ultimate. Christensen stepping back into it. Top is still alive. The flash falls from Calicus, but it's not enough to catch up. Doobie is starting up this Drake. SAS Desert will be able to pick up that Drake and will get a tower for their troubles. And 4 kills. And suddenly this gold lead, after the entire game being slightly in Madly Mediocre's favour, has swung. A 3,000 gold lead now for the side of SAS Desert. And, well,
There's not really much to say, really.
yeah, there's not too much to say about it at all. There's just 3 of them got caught out. Ended up dying, some positional errors, and they died. I do see, interestingly, we actually have the QSS on Sivir, keeping herself a little bit safer, which allows Tom Kench to focus more on keeping Talia alive, which is not a bad idea.
The QSS basically means that Leona and Malzahar cannot focus Sivir at all.
Exactly. She's paid the Malzahar tax, and now Malzahar is going to have to look at other people.
The longer this game goes on, the more difficult it's going to be to play both Leona and Malzahar. and also in Italy actually.
Oh yeah. Like
Yes.
for Blue side
So
to have been truly ahead this game, they would have
DB5
needed to be
Husky
like
does get the pullback over the wall. Husky is waiting to try and jump over, has the flash in the end, and will get taken out by Talia using the wall to get in there. Yet another kill for SAS Desert.
SAS are playing this late game very, very nicely.
Yep, they're just getting the picks on the sides. They keep finding Husky out in the jungle. He's playing very aggressively and is getting punished for it.
because of that, the Thalia actually has the XP lead now compared to earlier in the game, which is kind of huge, especially in the smite fights,
Yes,
where
we see
his smite will do more damage.
Baron has just spawned. They've actually found Smith, pushed him forward. Solar Flare does go wide, and he's taken out instantly. The root goes down onto Slugs, and Slugs is taken out. Doesn't matter that the Nico ultimate goes wide. Christensen also has a slow thrown onto him. And that is 3 down on the side of Madly Mediocre. And SAS Desert turn towards this Baron.
This Baron has to be an inhib. It's gotta be, right? There's no way SAS don't get an inhib here.
You imagine they push for an inhib, and if Madly Mediocre misstep again, they might be able to even push for the game. Nico and Sivir are 2 champions that are really good at forcing down towers, and if they do get a free hit on those towers, this could be a potential game-ending Baron. Madly Mediocre have to be very careful about where they choose to fight, if they do. I've been thinking about whether I like the Banshees on the Nico. I think I've decided that I do like it, because yet again it's just another thing that makes it hard for the Malzahar ult timing and also the Leona Solar Flare to even really get much done. It allows the Nico to run in a lot quicker, and it might not be the damage, but you don't really need the damage right now.
No, all they really need is the CC for Talia and Sivir.
Exactly.
I think Nico has recognized that she's not the main damage carry in this game, and probably won't ever be. So she's just gonna itemize to enable Sivir and Talia to be able to do as much damage as freely as possible.
Yeah, I got that Proto Belt to help with the engage, or whatever it's called now. I don't think it's called Proto Belt anymore. Should we find
Rocket
out?
Belt, right?
Rocket Belt. Yeah, it is called Rocket Belt. Gone the Rocket Belt to help with the engage. Gone the Banshees to help not get CC'd on the engage. And we can see that just a very slow siege. Madly Mediocre playing it far back, knowing that they don't really want to get caught out here. Solar Flare is thrown down. They want to go in, but Leona is already dead. Malzahar locks himself up using the ultimate. Calwalker trying to just run down Slugs. That's 3 already down. And I think Madly Mediocre will probably win the game off of this.
Yeah.
There's a TP eventually on the Nico. Oh, the Talia ult comes down. They want to kill Slugs. And that burst was just disgusting. That's 1 turret down.
Very nice
You could
play from
imagine that
SAS.
they push towards the game. Has my screen just frozen?
No, it does that when it FFs.
Yeah, they have.
Oh, there's a new bug. I see.
That
yeah.
wasn't here last patch.
Very, very nice play from SAS.
Yeah.
So, yeah, nice play from SAS, and they do
Pick up both of these games in the end. I guess we're gonna have to. Yeah, how does it end? We're never gonna find out. I guess we'll have to exit the game and go to the client, and it should hopefully say, "There we go, blue side defeat." Um, we'll have a look through the stats in case anyone would like to take a look at the stats.
I think this game comes down to the play bot lane in the early game where Leona got the 2 kills and Tristana was sort of left without getting much of a reward for going in. I think if Tristana had gotten the 2 early kills, this game would have been very, very different.
Mazen, what happened was there is currently a spectator bug apparently, where if one team FFs, it just freezes the client,
Oh,
or
yeah.
it freezes the spectate. Basically, Madly Mediocre FF'd And we can see that it says defeat, which means blue side. Oh, you won the game by taking the Nexus? Why did it freeze then? Whatever, the game was over. More client spectator bugs as if there weren't enough of those. Yeah, we can see Talia actually did by far the most damage, over, or just under 10,000 more than the next person. So, which was Malzahar. So there we go. Lots of damage being thrown out by the Talia, which is kind of interesting. Wasn't expecting that. What it does mean for our standings, we get to do some nice NA production values on our standings here because I haven't sorted it out. And to be quite honest, I probably could have gone and sorted it out now beforehand, but while that game was going on. But whatever, we're just update it now. Ta-da. Easy peasy. There we go. Oh look. It means that SAS Desert do win the River League. Woo! Congrats. I mean, yeah, those two games do put them above TLH, which means we don't need to play any sort of tiebreaker. I should probably ask, who do you guys think was the MVP from that last game?
I would say it probably has to be D'Italia. Going
Yeah,
from
I
a
would
jungle
agree.
deficit into just putting the team on the back and just like showing that the Italia pick can work if you play it right. And I think this guy actually plays the matchup right. He gave up jungle early game to make sure that he could scale up, and he sort of functioned well with his team, meaning in the sense that he functioned of the comp that they have drafted.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people. I think most of the players played that game pretty well from the side of SAS Desert. I think you could probably argue a case for all of them being an MVP for that game. Um,
Yeah, I really like the build from Clad with the Sunfire. It really made him just when they were weak in the early game and he had a small lead, he just went for Sunfire so he could help the team in the team fights, which
But
really
yeah, and
lets
he
them
did his
scale.
job. He just kept the
Yeah.
Camille from taking over the game. That's all that he really needed to do that game.
oh yeah, he forced the Camille to play for the team fights and not really for the split push, which is where Camille's strength actually comes from. She comes from the split push, and her not being able to 1v1 Decled, I think it's a bit of an item diff there.
Yeah.
The Triforce doesn't accomplish that as much. Triforce is more of a winning more thing where you try and cheese out an early kill. Divine Sunder helps better in the split push. And I think had she gone Divine Sunder, then I think she could start actually fighting back against Decled.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes. Personally, I just think Divine Thunder is pretty much better than Triforce in every situation. I think that item's pretty ridiculously strong.
Oh
Thanks,
yeah,
Kirin, for the follow.
hell yeah! Thanks for having
I
me
don't know.
on, dude.
No worries. I don't know when we will be doing more of these, but we'll find out.
Oh yeah, and who
Yeah,
knows? Maybe I'll be playing with the Bald Eagles in the next one.
maybe.
If I can talk them into actually wanting to play an awesome bracket style like this. Like I actually love this sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. We've got people to like run the next one potentially. Probably be after New Year's, but yes, that is the River League wrapped up. So we can see that Young Prodigies did actually only play 4 games, but they did get 1 win, and they were close games, all 4 of them. Could have potentially won any of them. Valkyrie 5 picking up 3 wins, Maddie Mediocre picking up 3 wins as well. TLH sitting on 6, SAS Desert sitting on 7 wins, only dropping that 1 game against TLH, winning the River League. So congratulations to them. Yeah, we will work out something as a reward. I don't know. It'll probably just be another Discord like unique role. Uh, yep. If you guys want it a certain color, let me know. Maybe we can like change the color up each time. Meanwhile, if we look over at the Ocean League, we still have 1 game left to play. Not sure if that will get played, but the game basically does come down to The only place the way the game does make a difference is whether the winners of our Ocean League will be guys in real life for the second season in a row, or World Regenesis Esports who did win the tournament last time we did a tournament, beating out guys in real life. World Regenesis do hold the 2-0 over guys in real life, so they just need to win one of their 2 games against Vengeance in order to take that.
Vengeance is gonna take it. They're gonna win, I believe.
Vengeance are underrated.
I believe.
So
I think they got it.
I hope at the very least that they win the first game and then it keeps it interesting for the second game. But yeah, we will see you all back for that game, which will hopefully be taking place. Trying to get it organized between the 2 teams. We will see. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope to see you next time. If you're not in the Discord, there is a Discord link down in the about somewhere.
Follow the stream, people.
And yeah, come follow, probably join the Discord slightly better because I might not be streaming the next season. We'll have to see. But yeah, I will catch you all later. And yeah, shout outs to Josh who is like leaving next season because he's going to America.
Oh shit! It's going to a lesser part of the world. Nah, have fun, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I will stick around. Yeah, and this is starting to just drag on with me spouting
Yeah,
random bullshit
we
'cause I'm
should probably
extremely
end it
tired.
here, right?
Yeah, perfect.